Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Dark Rage titled Scorn. And if we switch over to here, we're going to be checking out this track on the screen here from Dark Rage. We're going to listen through it from start till finish. We're going to hear what we think. Apparently this is metal, gore, grind, slamming, brutal, death metal, grind, core. So let's go. What do we have? Sounds incredibly creepy off the bat. Nice use of Foley there. I mean, this is a one-man band as I understand it. Great use of pick skills there. I mean, it's frenetic with the kit. I'm wondering if that's an acoustic or a sampled one or an electric one, you know? Because I know that people do drum programming nowadays. I mean, it's so short and so visceral and so powerful, you know? And welcome to the conclusion section of my review of this track from an act named Dark Rage titled Scorn. Now, what do I think this track is about? I have no idea. I couldn't understand the lyrics. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's okay to not know what the track is about as long as you're appreciating the experience, you know. According to Google, scorn is a feeling and expression of contempt or disdain for something or someone. And I would get behind that for this. It definitely sounds like we are experiencing disdain for someone. So I think in regards to that, the vocal style is appropriate. The growls, the pig squeals, the screams in a higher register. Clearly we're dealing with a vocalist who is incredibly competent to what they do. I'm really satisfied with what I heard today. It works really well for the genre, very authentic to it, and ultimately just, you know, really well done. I think that the track at 1 minute 32 with the Foley at the start with the knife and everything like that, and then the plunging into the flesh and then the scream was very and incurred a very vivid sense of imagination there. You could really sort of sound like you were there. I thought it was very well done. But the guy screaming and then straight into the guitars and the blast beats and everything like that, I thought it was really well staged there. It was a really brutal sounding mix, and I mean that both in the sense of like the genre that we're talking about, as well as just the effect of it. Like there were such harsh textures in there that mirrored the sentiment that I think we were going for. The guitars were vicious and frenetic, going between chugged power chords, you know, with the palm muting and such, with some other potentially melodic or tremolo picked parts, but it was typically the chug chugs, and there's some sort of maybe some tritones explored there in the harmonies. The big bass guitar wasn't especially prevalent, but I don't necessarily mind that because going in that low end, working with the root notes or the key signature and the chord progressions is totally fine there. We don't need a bass solo in a minute in a track like this, especially with its length. And, you know, the drums as well, with the mixture of different sort of hi-hat, crash, kick and snare parts there with blast beats and snares, and lots of really quick double kicks, and then sort of some tom parts as well. It was incredible. It was just really quick, really technical, and we had a proficiency over the kit that I really respect and appreciate. Ultimately, at 1 minute 32, I thought it was well fleshed out as a really consistent short form piece that set the theme overall. It sounded like someone going through a lot of pain, the struggle that you go through after you'd basically stabbed or tried to mutilate someone. All in all, in effect, with the use of the minors, the tritones, etc., just the relentless, just ludicrous nature of the force of it, it all kind of really works well together and meshes eloquently. I think the studio recording, mixing and mastering was done well here as well. I can't help but think that the Foley work at the start was a little bit loud in comparison to the guitars, bass and drums in the main part of the track, but at the same time, things were pushed so hard in that part of the frequency spectrum and the stereo field that, the compression was just ferocious. And so I think what was happening was that it was as loud as the Foley and stuff like that. You just had things like kind of claustrophobic and kind of all caught together, and there's this immense bass response in there that was making it seem a little bit quieter than the other parts, even though it was still full of force and vigor. Ultimately, I think that the way it was mixed and produced was really effective. It suited the songwriting and the vocal style there. Things were nice and present regardless of what they did on the microphone or with the instruments. Nice and wide in the stereo field there. Again, the use of Foley was like, the sound of it was actually really great. I do really like when people use sounds of knives or like stuff that makes it more like a cinematic experience. Adds an extra sense of dimensionality and depth to a piece. There was a little bit of dynamic range, but not much. It was pretty much balls to the wall the entire time, and it was nice and loud without pumping. And I don't think there was any sort of overproduction or sort of work done on the vocals aside from kind of keeping it raw and visceral. That's effectively my review of those. This track from an act named Dark Rage titled Scorn. It's currently out for your consumption on YouTube, and please, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, go check out their various social medias and the YouTube and Instagram pages, and stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either hell more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.